Bullet hells, a subgenre of the shoot-'em-up genre that could be traced all the way back to one of the very first games, Space War. But that is not where this genre begins. Firstly, though, I have to tell you, what are the three main parts that make up a bullet hell? And those would be, 1, you're going to be dodging very complex bullet patterns. 2, you're probably going to need a small hitbox so you don't just smash into all of these insane amount of bullets that are coming at you. And 3, there will be bosses at the end of each level. Now, where does this genre get its start? Well, in 1993, a game called Batsugun comes out. Batsugun is developed by a team at Toaplan, a now defunct Japanese game making company. But what does Batsugun do? Well, it does define exactly the three features I just mentioned. And not only that, this game specifically gave players a gun upgrade as well throughout their playthrough. You could upgrade your ship, and as I mentioned, Toaplan would eventually fall apart and go into bankruptcy, but the developers would not give up there, and they would reform together under a new name, that is, Computer Arts Visual Entertainment, also known as Cave, one of the most influential developers in this genre. And what does Cave immediately develop? Probably one of the most important titles in the entirety of the genre, and that is Danpachi in 1995. Not only did Danpachi do everything that the predecessor did, but it would also introduce a combo score system, meaning that while you're dodging these bullets, you would want to find the optimal path, shoot as many enemies in a row as possible without letting a certain amount of time pass to break that combo. And 2, it would add a second game clear that would be much more difficult than the first time you cleared the game, to really prove if you were a master at this genre. But then comes along a series that is probably the most absolutely well-known in this genre, and it was all made by one guy, and his name, or what he goes by, is Zune. And Zune makes the Touhou Project. Yes, that Touhou Project. And actually, his initial reasoning for making this series of bullet hell games was that he just wanted to put his music into a game, and he figured this was the easiest way to do it. And the first game actually wasn't a bullet hell, but the second game in the series, which came out in 1997, Story of Eastern Wonderland, would be a bullet hell, and that would kind of continue as they went forward with their game series. And in 2002, Embodiment of Scarlet Devil would actually be the game that brings the Touhou Project to the West and gets an audience here. It wasn't the first bullet hell to make waves in the Western world. It would actually go to a game that came out in 2001, 1 year before. That is Ikaruga. Ikaruga was the game that would find an audience here in the Western world for bullet hells. And it had this unique feature, which we'll call the polarity system, where you would flip your ship and the bullets that match the color of your ship at the time of flipping would pass right through you. Very neat, very cool. And though all of these games and developers I've mentioned have all come out of Japan exclusively, don't worry, the Western world has also taken note, and we've released a few ourselves here in the United States. Notably, the one that I think is most well-known is probably Jamestown, Legend of a Lost Colony, in 2011. But the design theories that come out of bullet hells have actually found their way into a bunch of new genres as of late. Some of the most notable ones to take influence from the bullet hell genre would be games like Nier Automata, which brought a little bit of bullet hell into its boss fights and 3D spaces. Another massively popular indie game that I'm sure many of you know, Undertale. Its whole battle system has a very bullet hell-esque feel to it. And as we move forward, the design theories of the bullet hell genre find their way into things, but one developer said, what if we flipped this whole thing on its head and did the reverse, and in 2022 we get the first Bullet Heaven, Vampire Survivors, and it's exactly that. Instead of you dodging thousands and thousands of little bullets, you will be shooting thousands and thousands of bullets by the end of your run. I adore that game. Very cool twist, I think. But what do you think of bullet hells as a genre? What is your favorite bullet hell? Did I miss any? And as always, thanks for watching.